Hi, I'm Kristen, and I have physically seen a tall gray 3 times in my life, and the third time occurred just a couple days ago, so I figured that I would come on here and talk about what I saw. So I was laying in bed in this room that I'm in right now, and I was on my phone looking at a shopping website for my kids. And so when I was looking at my phone, I saw that there was some kind of motion activity at the end of my bed that I could see over the top of what I was looking at. And so I'm no stranger to seeing kind of like shadow people, shadow blobs, and typically they're kind of like wispy in the center. And as they move, they kind of like disintegrate and fall apart pretty rapidly when they move. They're not super kind of defined. They're a bit hazy. And so a couple nights ago, when I looked up to see what was at the end of my bed, I saw that there was like a clearly defined figure. And so it wasn't completely solid. It was a dark gray color, mildly translucent, so I could kind of see like the door through it. But it had very defined edges. I could clearly see its head, its neck, its arms, its torso, everything. And so what I was looking at had like a completely smooth, slightly larger than a human head. And it had like no protruding ears. It was kind of like turned a bit to the side and like looking down. And it had like a longer than human neck. It had like really thin arms, a thin torso. And so when I saw this being, I saw it kind of like in motion, I suppose. So like when I looked up, it seemed to be moving, like kind of like moving to like crouch down a bit. And so it kind of crouched and it seemed to sprint, run, just like rapidly move from the foot of my bed over to the side of my bed, and it got up to kind of like where my knees to my thighs would be, and then it just kind of like winked out. And so I couldn't make out the details of its face or anything because the entire figure was just like this solid dark gray color. I don't know if that was on purpose or if it was just because it was just so dark I couldn't make anything out. But what is interesting to note is that the being that I saw looked pretty much exactly in silhouette like what I saw when I was on vacation in Hawaii more than a decade ago. So this figure was really tall, so probably 6.5 to 7 feet tall. And so when it was crouched down, it was probably closer to about 5.5 to 6 feet when it was bent. And what's really interesting about this encounter is that I did not have any reaction to it. So when I first saw a gray, like kind of face to face, like right in my space, I had a fight or flight reaction. I got completely terrified, and I was just trying to figure out like how can I get out of this room as quickly as possible. But a couple nights ago when I saw this, I had no reaction whatsoever. It was just like, oh well, there's that being, and I guess I'll just go back to what I was doing. It was just very strange because I know myself, and I know that typically I would like get up and try to leave the room or try to look around and see what's going on, and just it was just my reaction was like and nothing else. And so since that happened, I've been kind of thinking about like why was it here? What was it doing? Is there any reason for it? Um, and as far as I can tell, I don't know why it visited. I After it happened, again, I was calm the entire time. I was completely awake, and lucid, not dreaming, not about to fall asleep at all. And when I tried to go to sleep, I couldn't. So I spent hours and hours just kind of tossing and turning in bed, and just like my mind was completely awake. And so I don't know if there was some type of aspect of my adrenaline rushing and I just wasn't aware of it, or if there was some type of communication that happened that kind of kept me awake and I'm not aware of that. Um, but yeah, like the whole kind of encounter was kind of strange, but like just very neutral, very calm. And so I started to think about like how do other people kind of address this type of circumstance happening in their lives. And I know that a lot of people that are contactees, like when they see grays, this is the type of way that they see them. And so even though I've seen one on vacation, like kind of coming out of my sleep, and that was at dawn, and I saw it out on a patio. And then there was another time that I saw a gray that was like kind of like peeking into my living room at night, but well before I was about to go to sleep. I know that a lot of other people, they will either be woken up in the night by kind of seeing something similar to what I just saw a couple nights ago, or they will be in the exact same position that I was in, where they are laying in bed but they're fully awake, and this type of being just kind of comes into existence. And so, from a lot of the stories that I have read about other experiencers that have seen grays in this kind of way, they a lot of people seem to react kind of with more shock, more alarm. unless it's somebody that has been contacted a lot of times. And so just thinking about my own reaction to what happened, I have spent years and years thinking about what I originally saw, that memory of what I saw in Hawaii. And I think there is a possibility, just the saturation of recalling that memory and thinking about it and getting used to it and being acclimated to the idea of a gray being in my space. Like, there is a chance that just now, if they show up, I'm just not going to care as much. I mean, I'll care about like what they're here to say or communicate, but just the appearance may not be as frightening as it had been in the past. Um, but there is also the possibility that like something was kind of done to me emotionally, and that is something that a lot of experiencers talk about. Is that when a gray shows up in their space, like certain people have not been affected at all, except to feel like complete peace or complete love. And in hindsight, these people kind of think, well, I don't know what was going on there. Like, what I saw was something so otherworldly, and my normal reaction wouldn't be to be peaceful, but that was the way that I felt. And so maybe that happened. For right now, it is a complete mystery, and I'm going to be wondering about if they are coming back to communicate something, or if there was some kind of download that was given to me and I just have not unlocked it yet. I don't think that they just come around just for fun and to say hello. I think that they typically show up in order to respond to something that you're going through, or in order to tell you something. Since I wasn't going through anything and I was like completely neutral in the mind, I think that there was probably something communicated or something about to be communicated. Yeah, so if I see anything else, I will, of course, come on here and I will tell you about it. If you've ever seen a gray or any other type of non-human intelligence kind of spawn out of nowhere just into your space, like it almost came from like one dimension into ours, please let me know in the comments, and I'd like to hear about it. So thanks for listening today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.